Are you a top bun or a bottom bun kind of guy?
What does that
I
mean?
don't know. Instinctually, I think I'm top bun.
I mean, the bottom bun is the more useful half.
Yeah, but the top,
the
it's
bottom
just
bun
got
has
that
all the
nice
structure.
fluff to it.
It's just there to the top part is just there so that your first bite isn't just ruining your mouth with toppings and crap. The bottom one's the most useful one.
The bottom bun just disintegrates. Just falls apart.
I don't know if you have a good bottom bun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still think I like the
And
top.
that's the most important half.
It's curvy.
Yeah.
It's alluring.
I mean, honestly, I don't like too much bread in my burger.
No, I don't know.
I want something that is unintrusive and strong. Just like I like my women, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know about unobtrusive.
Thin, unobtrusive, and strong,
I like mine curvy and a mouthful.
I like mine with sesame seeds on it.
Yes. Yes, please. Order up.
I like mine full of rye.
No.
No, that doesn't work. All right.
There's a small dwarf inside my stomach breaking down the spaghetti I had this morning. Just smashing it in his hands.
You had spaghetti for breakfast?
Oh, yeah. I am ready for a day of heartburn, coffee, and spaghetti.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was a good red sauce, too, like a overnight cooked red sauce with Italian sausage. And
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
I remember there was a time when I was in high school. I'd get home from school, and I would have 2 cups of coffee, 2 microwave burritos, and then maybe like some ramen afterwards. And then I'd like go out skateboarding with the dudes,
Yeah.
And I cannot even think about doing that now.
No. That would ruin my entire day. My day is now I'm laying on my side regretting every decision I made.
Exactly.
That's one of the worst feelings. I would almost rather be a little too tipsy or even like slightly hungover than being over full.
Depends on the over full. If it's not a gassy full, then I'm okay with that. But if it gets too gassy, that sucks.
I mean,
you
there's
get like that
too.
bloat
Yeah.
push,
Yeah.
All right, this is like real old man shit. Like we're talking way older than we actually are.
I don't know.
Like we are not that old.
I don't know.
Like this is
fucking
suspenders
old.
with your belt old.
I mean, I have a pair of suspenders.
I mean, me
I
too,
don't-
but I don't wear them with my belt.
No, they're more a winter thing.
Mine are Christmas themed.
Oh, nice. While I have you here,
Yes.
are you interested in diplomacy?
Am I
Are
interested?
you interested
Absolutely not.
in the concept
No.
of diplomacy? You heard it here. Arvid is against diplomacy.
I mean, yeah, they're no. I'm just terrible at those things, and they make me feel like shit.
game.
Like I hate
You don't wanna play
Werewolf.
the
I
game.
hate
Okay,
Secret
gotcha.
Hitler.
Yeah.
I hate diplomacy.
So not
Like,
a
I
fan of
just-
social games. Like
The social games I can do, so
I
long
guess
as
it's not even
social doesn't
deduction.
mean like witch hunt or like
It's just
connive and mislead your friends.
well, that's part of all tactics.
Yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't. I don't do well with those.
You did fine last time.
appreciate the offer.
You did fine last time. You just didn't get your order in properly, I think. Isn't that
I
what
didn't
messed
do
you up?
fine last time. I did not do. I mean, I've never. It doesn't matter. I was only doing it last time so that you guys would have 7 people and you guys could play, and I wouldn't feel bad about you guys playing. That was the only reason.
Oh, we need 2 more.
Just
so.
like every other time I've ever played diplomacy. I'm just there to make it so that you guys can play. I go out early, I make myself a drink, and I hang out
I was
with the
gonna say,
smokers
that's
outside.
a very like dad or mom move.
Yeah, well, someone had to be the mom in that fucking group. Jesus.
Yeah, that's fair. You were our Wendy
Wendy?
to our Lost Boys.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I was thinking of. No, it's Alice. I don't know what I was thinking of.
What were you thinking of?
I was thinking of the the nanny from Brady Bunch.
Okay, because then I was like, wait, Wonderland Alice?
No, no,
Oh,
no,
boy.
no, no. Yeah, we're just going all kinds of terrible places.
Yeah. So why'd you pick this game?
What game? Galaxy Burger?
Yeah.
Well, I played the developer's previous game. Well, first of all, we were originally going to play another game, and then I ended up at the farm, and I didn't have my equipment to play the other game.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to play something a little less demanding for my laptop. And this game had just come out. It was by the same people who made a game called a game I actually talked about on this podcast before called Galaxy Pass Station, which was a kind of a cross between like a Papers, Please and a I don't know, maybe like a Fallout shelter or just like a little bit of a base building thing, but with a like Papers, Please kind of repetitive game loop. And I really liked it mostly. I mean, it's a little janky, a little unbalanced, but it had this really fun art style and really well animated. And I really just kind of thought it was like a kind of a comfy, cute game that doesn't kind of fall into a lot of the comfy, cute game tropes. Like I feel like now there's almost too much comfy, cute stuff, and it all kind of looks the same and blends together and lacks personality. And I thought Galaxy Pass Station had a lot of personality. So when this game that came out, I was interested in playing it, and I think it certainly has all the same art style and a lot of the same, even like the alien races are a lot of the same. Like I think you can imagine this exists in the same setting as Galaxy Pass Station.
Mm-hmm.
This game being Galaxy Burger. So I guess I'll ask what you thought of it first. Galaxy Burger being a game about making burgers for aliens. It's very simple. You get an order, you make a burger. I realize that this is probably a little too close to home to you.
I was going to say, it was definitely, it took me like a couple days to like really give it a shot because I was like, I don't want to come home from work where I've been taking orders all day and like running a kitchen to then take orders and run a kitchen. But no, it's fun. It's simple. I like the progression system of it too, where you start with like really basic ingredients. So you're taking orders for these different aliens. At the start of it, the chef's going on vacation for a year. Oh my God. What's the longest you could go on vacation for? Like, and return to work and not hate it?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I've never been on a vacation, but then at the same time, I kind of have always been on vacation. So it's just one of these situations.
I did two.
Bad question.
I did 2 weeks one time, and I did not. Like, I think I turned into a socialist during those 2 weeks, where I was like, "Wait, why are we working like this?"
Hey, man, socialists get a month off.
I know. I don't know if I can do that though. Like the amount of time I had away, I was so thrown off from my entire rhythm. It was impossible to come back to it. First part of this game, I can't believe that they're taking a year off. But okay, whatever.
Hey,
whatever.
it's space,
it's
you know.
space.
Maybe it's like time dilation. He's only going to be gone for 30 days, but it'll be.
But he's orbiting a black hole.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, that makes more sense then. Ooh, hey, that's a cool way to cheat the system. You just take a day off, but it's 2 weeks. You just go really fast.
Yeah. Just spend it in stasis, and then all right, that's the opposite. You don't want to do that.
I mean, if the stasis
really
pod also had like a sun tanning bed in it, so you get a tan while you're in stasis. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that would work.
Well, we didn't say cryostasis. Could be like energy stasis. I don't know. What other forms of stasis?
The cells need to like still react to the light, right? So like they'd still have to like convert things to melanin.
Giant is in charge of cellular activity inside the body.
Yeah, which Titan? Mitochondrium, Lord of the Cell.
Shit. Yeah, no, I actually really did like this game. It's fun. Yeah.
I think the one thing I like, I mean, on one hand, I think the progression is a little slow, from my opinion. Like I think it kind of takes a while to get a lot of the stuff unlocked.
Mm.
But the one thing I liked about this is that it's different than a lot of the cooking games where, like, some of them are, like, they're, like, way wicked easy or way too simple or way too cute, where they're just kind of, like, not trying to make... There's no impetus to try and optimize what you do. Like, you know, like, you're... But then there's the other ones which are, like, stressful. Everyone's shouting at each other. There's, like, a timer
like
going.
Overcooked.
Yeah, like Overcooked or whatever. And then, like, so this isn't either of those. Like, there is, like, a timed mode, but it's really more just, like, you get bonus for doing it quickly as opposed to, like, you get yelled at for doing it slowly. And even then, like, you can take your time and it's not that bad. It's, like, a nice, chill medium there. Like, it doesn't, like, there's still part of me that's like, okay, well, I'm going to make sure I put the cheese on that on the patty before I put it on the bun, or I put it on the grill so I can get those two cooking at the same time to maximize space on the grill, etc. But I'm not, like, thinking like that because I need to, like, optimize everything down to seconds because I need to, you know, get things done. And the game expands more than I was expecting. I didn't, like, you get, like, a deep fryer. We can start, like, frying stuff, and you get, like, eggs, and it kind of goes I was expecting, I guess, something closer to, like, a Flash game in its scope, but this thing was actually a lot more extensive.
Well, because it looks like it. Like, it has that same art style of, like, a early 2000s Flash game.
But really well done. Like,
oh, yeah.
It's just, like, I think that the animation and, like, the color choices and, like, the way stuff, like, the way that it interacts with the UI, and it just, I don't know, it's a really pleasant way of doing this kind of, like, I don't know, modern pixel art thing where it's not trying to be retro, it's just doing pixel art for pixel art's sake. But yeah, not a lot to say, really, just other than, like, it's just a game that, I mean, the other, like, the same thing with Galaxy Pass Station. It was kind of a game that I never heard anyone talk about, but I really dug on and kind of wanted to talk about when that came out.
Mm.
And this game, I think it got a little bit more, like, it's already gotten a lot more reviews on Steam than the first one, largely because I think there's a giant cute cat on the front. But
yep.
Yeah,
I mean, I will say you're right with the progression, because that first initial 4-top grill that you have, the little hibachi setup you got, that is nowhere near enough space. I know, like, the orders aren't coming in crazy fast. You're not being timed on it, but still, it's once you get, like, the dual burner set up and you've got your fryers and everything, that's when it was like, okay, now I'm actually enjoying the game, like, fully. I get they couldn't have everything unlocked right from the beginning for you, because then what's really the point of the progression outside of, like, popping in for an hour and checking this neat thing out? But it's not as enjoyable until you have all that stuff either. So I don't know. It would have been nice if there was a mode right in the beginning where you could just hop into end game, right?
I don't know, because I think, like, I needed, because you have, like, regular, like, cheeseburgers, hamburgers, and stuff that are easy to figure out, but then they have, like, ones that are, like, the Venusian burger, and the Mercurial burger, and the Galaxy burger, and stuff, and, like, you have to, like, you kind of have to memorize them, because if they have a special order, it'll give you what they want on the burger, but if it's, like, one of these pre-designed burgers, you have to kind of have it memorized. I mean, you can click over and look at the recipe, and again, there's no timer, so you're not, like, it's not like a big stressful, like, oh, I have to look, it's, but at the same time, like, I wouldn't have wanted it to be like there's 16 burgers on the menu to begin with, and, like, I have 32 different ingredients, and I have to remember to, like, get the cucumber out.
That's true.
The pickle and stuff like that.
Okay. Cucumber. Have you ever had cucumber on a burger?
Not until I played this game.
Yeah. I'm trying to, like, really think, because I've had some interesting burgers. I've had, like, a lamb burger with, like, a blue cheese walnut, almost like chutney sauce and stuff. Like, I've had tons. I've never had cucumber. And I'm thinking, like, why wouldn't, like, a good Greek olive burger with some feta and, like, thick cut cucumber be, like, that kind of sounds nice.
I mean, maybe they do that. I mean, I know the olive burgers in, like, Flint in Detroit, they're a lot different. They don't do, like,
it's the mayo and stuff.
Greek style. Yeah, exactly.
That's how my dad's always eating his burger. Ugh. Not a fan. Not for me.
You don't like a Halo burger?
No, it's not for me. Keep mine pretty classic and standard. Maybe some mayo on there. Get that fucking mustard and ketchup off it.
Really?
Yeah.
That you just like meat on bread?
No. Get some mayo, get some cheese, maybe some onion, grilled or raw.
See, I can't have mayo and cheese on the same thing. They're not allowed to touch. I don't know why. I don't. I guess my problem is I'm one of those people who still thinks mayonnaise is a dairy product, even though it's just vegetable oil and eggs. And I know that, but at the same time, like this is a white, creamy thing in a jar. This is the same thing as ranch dressing. You know.
Do you get it in the dairy section?
No, of course not. I know that it's not, but my brain has trouble wrapping its head around that.
No, it's fair.
So to me, having mayonnaise and cheese on the same burger is like having, ranch dressing and cheese on the same burger. Or
I think I've probably had that.
Cream or I don't know, whipped cream, not whipped cream.
Well, now you just like got my brain going with cream cheese on a burger and
cream cheese and cheese. No.
I would maybe do like some, I don't know, green onion cream cheese, like a chive green, cream cheese with like slice of pepper jack.
No. Nope. Can't let cheese touch dairy. That is, I don't know what.
Why?
What? I don't know. It bothers me, like the concept.
Is this like some kind of a Swedish halal rule?
No, absolutely not, because it's all over the place here. Everyone just like, yes, I made dinner. It's ground up cheese mixed with milk with cheese on top, and then we've served it over potatoes and fish.
Yeah, but you also forgot like all the sugar that gets added because it's sweet. It's going to be a very sweet thing as well.
No. There's no. It's sour. It's sour. It is not sweet at all. It's like there might be. It's like salty, a little bit of vinegar, lots of cream. Put it over some, eggs.
That's like the closest
diced
thing
eggs
you've
probably
got to
in
like
there somewhere in there.
A cheeseburger in Sweden.
No, we have cheeseburgers.
You have
That's just
you
like
have cheeseburgers.
Yeah, we have like several fast food places. Some of them aren't even American.
Oh,
so
do you have like a
we have
Swedish McDonald's that's not McDonald's?
Yeah, it's called Max.
Feels like they're just trying to do the McDonald, but Max.
Yeah, I'm probably yeah. But we also have McDonald's, and there is a Burger King in my town. None of them. Well, like only 2 of them are drive-throughs, and they're like by the freeway.
I'm assuming they have like fun menu items that you can't get in the States.
They used to.
Oh.
They don't so much anymore.
Huh.
I remember back in the day they had some different stuff. Now, like they do specials that are different than the stuff in the States. Like for a while there, like McDonald's had like a truffle oil burger, and I'm pretty sure they didn't do that in America. But like it was just a special. Like I don't know, it got really lame, especially after the pandemic. They've just stopped bothering to do anything interesting.
It's been a while since I've eaten at like a McDonald's or a Burger King. I've got this Culver's place right down the road from my work. And so when I'm feeling lazy, like about once a week after like a hard shift, and I'm just like, I'm just going to get food made fast for me, I go in there. And it is the most Midwest-ass place ever because when you order your food, they're like, okay, well, if it's a combo meal, like fries are standard, but like, you want to make those fries cheese curds? And I'm like, yeah, you know what, I actually do. And they're like, great. Do you want your soda to actually be like a custard or like a concrete mixer? And I'm like, you know what, actually, that sounds pretty good too. Let's go ahead and do that.
That's what I would always get was the frozen custard slurp things.
Oh, yeah.
I never actually ate. To me, that was like, Culver's was always about like milkshakes. It was, or
that was like going to Wendy's for me. It was for the Frosty. I was going for a Frosty and like fries to dip in my Frosty.
Yeah. So yeah, in order to immerse myself in burgerdom,
yes,
while I was playing this game, I decided to watch Bob's Burgers because I'd never actually seen it.
Oh,
I assumed it was all about burger production. It's not. It's just not a lot of that.
It's not mostly about burgers and burger accessories. No.
It does share many of the same writers as King of the Hill.
Yeah.
I know, I like it. It's fine. I mean, I didn't realize there was 14 seasons in a movie. Jesus Christ.
Bud. That movie is good.
Is it?
Yeah, it's actually really good. Like, you watch the show more so you get to know the characters. But as you've probably already noticed, they have a lot of, like, there's some musicality to the show.
What do you mean by musicality?
Like, there's a lot of, like, musical numbers and little bits, even if it's, like, the end credits song that will always be, like, mixed up and be, like, a cutout clip of something from the show. But they also have musical episodes, like, pretty frequently, actually. And so the entire movie is also, like, not a full musical, but there's a lot of musical sets in it. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's really enjoyable.
I will have to check that out.
Mm-hmm. Although it threw me off on the animation because they did like the studio upgrade animation for the movie.
Yeah.
So everyone has like realistic shadows and stuff. And it's like, too real.
Maybe I'll have to watch all 14 seasons of that since I'm all caught up on The Simpsons.
Good God. You're caught up?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Did it.
That's insane. I still ask my parents like where they are with it, and they're like, "Oh, we're like in season 12." They're like, "We're starting to think if we should like watch the new ones in tandem." And I was like, "No, just keep going. Just you'll get there eventually."
I mean, yeah, that's like, yeah,
now,
that's like you're leaving the heartland, and you've got like 10 years of desert wandering before anything gets good again.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like season 12 is like the drop off.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like there's the drop off before that, but then like after 12, it's just why are they even bothering?
It almost felt like at that point they were trying to mimic Family Guy to a degree because that had just come out.
Absolutely.
And they were like, "Well, Homer's basically Peter."
Yeah, exactly. I think they were very aware of Family Guy.
I mean, I guess they'll have a crossover episode or two to look forward to in that regard. I think my dad's a Family Guy fan.
Yeah, there's one. It's not very good.
No, not from what I remember, no.
There's only been one good crossover anything ever.
Oh?
In my opinion. And that was the Jetsons meet the Flintstones.
That was actually a really good one with, was it Kazoo?
Yeah. That was the only time there's ever been a good crossover, in my opinion. Except, I mean, I'm not counting like the first episode of DS9, which is kind of a crossover with TNG, just because
it's more of a handing off of the reins, but yeah.
Yeah, and there's only like 2 TNG people in that episode, so it doesn't count, in my opinion.
That's when O'Brien's getting transferred over, right?
Yeah, it's like O'Brien, and then Picard's in there, and
yeah,
I think someone else in the first episode of Voyager also Bashir's in it, and I think Quark is too. So they do that again, but that's not the same thing. It's not a crossover. That's just shared characters.
It almost more feels like they came up with that concept like halfway through TNG of like, what if we just shot this in case we ever wanted to just get rid of O'Brien? We don't know what this is going to be yet, but let's just...
We'll build an entire Cardassian station for him to live on. What does O'Brien hate? Cardassians. Oh, now we know where to leave him.
I'm glad that show wasn't more O'Brien focused.
I mean, it was pretty O'Brien.
Keiko-focused show. That would have been fine.
Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, maybe they could have written her a bit better if they focused on her. I mean, I don't know.
She had some moments. She had some moments.
You can't just have an entire show that is about being like a shrill shrew of a woman. Like, you have to, like,
really
if you make a show about someone like that, you have to actually give them personality, you know?
God, I still think back to that whole episode where they think he's dead, and her entire premise for why he's not dead is that he's drinking coffee in the afternoon, which turns out, no, he actually does like coffee in the afternoon. She's even fucking wrong about that. She doesn't even know her own husband.
Yeah, well, yeah.
He's like, no, I was drinking coffee.
I just wasn't, very like... I
was tired.
Was that old Folgers commercial, yeah.
The one where the brother and sister definitely want to bang each other? Is that the one you're talking about?
That is the second time you've brought that up on this podcast.
Yeah, but the other one was like a year ago. Around the holidays.
Yeah, classic.
Yeah. Just saying. Watch it. It's pretty obvious.
Yeah, I've seen that, and I think there is, because it's not the first time this is encountered, where I think like people who write television have never had siblings before, or they just don't know how siblings talk to each other. Like even any sitcom where you have more than one kid, they have to hate each other or they can't talk to each other. Like those are the only interactions siblings are allowed to have with each other.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, now I'm just thinking of the Brady Bunch movie where Greg and Marsha hooked up.
They don't do that in the movie. Do they? I mean, the new
movie.
The 90s
one.
one.
The 90s
yeah,
one.
okay, yeah. That was a thing. Why did that happen?
Everything was it was around like the Euro Trip era of movies. Like everything was just raunchy.
It was like 10 years before Euro Trip.
Euro Trip
that was
like 2001 or something.
Because like they just kept rebooting. Like it was like we had the Brady Bunch movie, we had the Beverly Hillbillies movie, there was the Bewitched movie, which I think was the last one of those.
Yeah,
that was like into the early 2000s.
Yeah, but that one wasn't overly horny.
That was also, I mean, I'm not talking about the horniness. I mean, just like, why were they turning old sitcoms into movies 30 years after the sitcoms were over? 40 years.
I mean, I guess because, like, the kids were, like, in their 40s and 50s now, so they were now the, like, purchasing power group of middle-aged people.
Yeah, I guess that's true. That's true, yeah. I guess that's why we have, like, Power Rangers movies.
A bunch of Transformers movies.
Ah, Jesus, fuck, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. Now that makes sense. I don't know why I asked that question.
Well, again, it just begs the question of like, when's the live-action Freakazoid movie coming out?
Yeah. Or like, what other '90s thing is there that is good that hasn't been rebooted already?
Street Sharks.
Yeah. Samurai Pizza Cats.
Biker Mice from Mars.
SWAT Cats.
Ooh, SWAT Cats. I haven't thought about SWAT Cats in forever. Now they've done Beast Wars Transformers now. They've finally done Beast Wars. I was waiting for that one, and I don't think I'm going to see it either. It doesn't look good.
No.
Captain Planet, have they redone Captain Planet? Is that rebooted?
I don't know. I mean, they could do that. That would be a good one.
That would be a good one.
Get Al Gore working again.
Hell yeah. Magic School Bus could do with a reboot if they haven't already.
They've done that. They must have done that one.
That one's so good.
Maybe not, though. I don't know.
Magic School Bus rides again. Looks like Kate McKinnon does the voice. Oh, Lily Tomlin still is Miss Frizz, though. So that makes me worry. She like
the elder Frizz that passes the torch.
That's why I'm wondering if she's like now the teacher's assistant.
Yeah.
Like just...
the principal.
Yeah, something. I don't know.
The dead narrator.
A STEM-focused show. Okay. Cool. They've redone it. 2018, 2 seasons, so it didn't get picked up for more than 2, but you know what? Good on them.
Yeah.
Good on them.
Indeed. Yeah, I don't know that there's a lot of stuff that needs to be rebooted.
No, I really like when people try to do new things, which is why I was so disappointed with like, what was it, the Rebel Moon thing? Did we talk about that recently? I feel like we had a conversation about it. We did.
Although that's not really a new thing because that was a script that Zack Snyder wrote for Star Wars.
Sure.
That got turned down.
Rightfully so.
So that was actually just shite Star Wars.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've had like something really new and good and original. I mean, I guess if you're going to movies, you know, Longlegs. I saw that recently. That was new and good and original.
We can speak of a new new thing that was not good but original, or at least tried to be.
Okay,
perhaps. I don't know how well versed we are in the saga of Concord, or if everyone's sick of hearing about it by the time they listen to this. But yeah, Sony's $300 million mistake.
Yep.
8 years of development lasted 2 weeks.
Yep, it's closed now
as a live service game.
Those servers are done. Do you think this is finally like the end of live service, like, or at least like the beginning of the end of live service? Like, are studios going to get the message that not everything should be live service? Like, that's not the dragon to chase.
I know. I think they're going to still do that, but they're just going to do it on much smaller scales with much smaller budgets, and they're going to have smaller studios do it so that they're less at risk. I think there's going to be a lot more like Helldivers 2, where you get like a smaller studio that you publish for you know, on like a $60 million budget or something like that, as opposed to $300 million. And then they, you know, I think it's less that they're not going to try and do live service. They're just going to be more conservative with the initial investment, is my theory.
But is that going to get them into the same pitfall we were talking about last time, where they're going to be trying to come up with the next Overwatch? And if they're on a small studio with a smaller budget, by the time they're finished with that game, everyone's moved on to the next live service style game. Now they're all into a social deduction game or some other shit. And it's just not going to translate and vibe with the audience anymore. Like, are they just screwing themselves out of the game. I don't know.
I think there's a good point because I think live service games like the MMOs before, like everyone tried to be the next WoW killer, but no one could be a WoW killer because WoW at its peak had like a huge portion of the market. It wasn't just that like to be a WoW killer, you had to like remove like take the majority of the entire video game user market. And nowadays there's just too much stuff. There's too much like there are people who can devote themselves to singular video games, but those people are usually like already have their game and they're every once in a while you have something that will come along and steal them from it, but like people are Call of Duty people, people are CS:GO people, people are Dota people.
Nick only plays Slay the Spire.
Yeah. I mean from like a live service
No, I know. But yes, no, people have their like game. I know some people that play ESO still, which I guess
no, you can't.
MMO, but like really. That's live service at this point. Like I would call Final Fantasy 14 and WoW and all that just live service.
Oh yeah, no, of course. I mean they were the progenitors of that business model. Yeah. No, I just meant like I don't think that like Sony can't get in there and make this killer app thing simply because they don't have enough market share. They didn't sell enough PlayStations, and there's too much other stuff to compete with. Like there's just it's not gonna. I mean they can't compete. Like how are you going to be the people who are publishing Helldivers 2, and then you still need all those Helldivers 2 people to come over and play Concord? Like I guess you're like, well, we'll take the audience that's playing Overwatch, but no one's playing Overwatch anyway, and that's not including before whatever Deadlock or whatever the thing is called comes out.
Oh yeah,
Valve's new thing. Yeah. Like you have to luck into that sort of thing, and I don't know. It's not like a movie. It's not like the movie industry where you can spend $100 million on a movie, and then someone can dedicate 2 hours to 3 hours to watching that in a cinema, and then you get enough people to do that and you recoup your thing. You have to get a ton of people playing a ton to recoup that with a video game like that.
But I guess that's the whole point then, right? Is like we need to go back to like AA, middle of the road, good games where the boardroom has less say of like we need to do this style of game and allow the developers to just make something that they're interested in making, that they know they've cultivated the team that is good at making, that type of game.
Right, but I don't know if that's necessarily useful with live service games. Like at what point?
It's not. No, we shouldn't do live service. Like live service is a neat concept for a few things, but like I don't know if it works in the long run for like the future of gaming.
Well, I don't think it's not. I think the idea that every game is going to be a live service game is malarkey. Yeah. But I think there's always going to be that. Whether you like it or not, there are always going to be people playing FIFA and people playing Dota and people playing CS:GO or whatever the new thing, CS2 or whatever. Like those things aren't going to go away. So like I guess the idea is like you keep trying to get that cash cow, but that's not something there isn't enough market for there to be many of those games. Like there isn't like there are a lot of people playing video games, but there's not a lot of people who are going to want to play those kind of video games. I think the people who have found their online service game are playing their online service game, and they're going to stick with that for a while.
And I think it's more about like the way live service works, where I don't know, it just feels more like Helldivers is a great example. A lot of the weapons and things, they're still always tweaking on them based on player feedback, but it's mainly because players feel cheaped by another player having a different weapon that makes their weapon seem less powerful, or specific squad makeups make it where if a certain enemy shows up, well, now we have no way to fight this thing. But for the most part, the weapons, all the like big walking mechs and everything that have slowly been unlocked over time, all existed in the game already. Like modders found them all and started playing around with that stuff very early on. So it's really just artificially being gate-kept out of the game to keep attention on it, to keep people coming back. And yeah, I get that's like...
I don't know if you could say it's artificially gate kept, because it's not like the developers had it all in the game, and the publishers were like, no, you got to save part of that for later.
No, I'm saying it was like intentionally designed for it to be phased rollout on it, but it was also there. So it's, I don't know, it just feels a little bit different than like DLC in that way, where I could see someone also making the argument of like, well, you could also just release Helldivers 2 as like a couch co-op game with like people hosting their own servers, and all of that stuff is just in there to unlock right off the get-go. I don't know if Helldivers 2's like story really matters as much as a live service, since like kind of the whole like idea. Well, they tried to build up this whole idea of
what's
like
the story
if
in CS. What's the story in CS:GO? What's the story at Counter-Strike?
No, I know, but Helldivers
it's just
specifically, they were like,
novel.
well, if they get to Super Earth, there's going to be this big fight, and then recently the players were like, okay, we're going to let them get to Super Earth, and it just reset. Nothing happened, like, because they weren't ready for that yet.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's
fair.
I
guess, but I don't know. It all makes it feel so, like I said, artificial.
Well, of course it's artificial.
I know.
But like, I guess my point is like the when you have organic communities like that, it's because they come from player on player interaction. Like you have stuff like when you read. I mean, I used to read like the EVE Online battle reports about like what guild screwed over what other guild or whatever. You like that is all player driven stuff. Like if you want it's hard to get the DM to like get in on your stuff. You know, like you can't just improv stuff and then have the GM know exactly what you want to do.
The players made Malevolent Creek a famous battlefield within Helldivers 2.
Yeah.
I get it.
Like I guess my point is just that like I don't think Helldivers 2 would be what it is if it wasn't a live service game, in the sense that it needs to have that huge group of people playing together and
all
interacting with each other
experience.
And all. Yeah, exactly. And like I'm not saying that like that's, you know, not all live service games. Like I'm not saying a live service game needs to have a shared experience, but like that's when that works. You know, like why people to this day are still paying $15 a month to play World of Warcraft, because they had some really good shared experiences 14 years ago. You know what I mean? 15, 16 years ago, 20 years ago. Actually, the game is having its 20th anniversary this year.
God, I'm so old.
So you got to, I guess, like a transition point, actually. So if you don't mind,
I'll
talk about what I've been playing this week. So I've been playing, I guess real quick before I move on to what I've been playing. Way game, way lame, way tame.
Well, you know what? Somewhere between way tame and way game. Like, it's a fun game, but it's mellow, and that's its point. Like, you're not going to feel stressed during this. You can turn your brain off pretty well outside of, like you said, memorizing the orders. But that itself is kind of fun. And, way good tame.
Good tame. Tame game. I agree. So to return to what I was saying, I have been playing the new World of Warcraft expansion. And I like it. It's fun. I mean, I as I've said before, I like every expansion when it comes out, and it's really only the last, you know, half a year or so where you can really kind of judge WoW expansion, in my opinion. But so far I'm really liking it. Like, it's a lot of story-driven stuff. It's very solo-friendly. Just a lot of endgame solo stuff, which is kind of nice, because usually it's like the WoW for a long time has been, we expect you to solo a lot to, you know, level up and unlock stuff, and then we expect you to play with everyone else at the end game. And this, you know, as a person who played solo mostly due to time zone differences and stuff like that, it works out pretty well for me. I will say it's a little lonely. Sometimes the enforced interaction with people was nice, so I can do dungeons and raids by myself now. Apparently, I haven't the raids aren't unlocked yet, but I will be able to. There's these new things called delves, which are like dungeons designed to be soloed. So they're like a lot of I would say puzzle based battles, but like the battle is a lot more like being clever with the abilities that you have, and less so like just World of Warcraft, damage them and don't stand the fire type stuff, which is nice. Bit more thinky makey, which can be sometimes a bit more annoying, but so far I like that system. There's stuff. There's tons of stuff to do. Like, there's no lack of content. I've been playing pretty regularly for well, since it came out, and I still haven't finished all the main quests. I mean, I've done like the main quest line, but like the regular quests, I still haven't finished all of them.
For like the different regions as you move through.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the hub areas.
And I really like the new regions. I was kind of worried when they announced that this expansion was going to largely take place underground, because I was, underground's hard to do a lot of stuff with that. But they did a really good job, differentiating environments. You have like the island on top, which is like the dwarf version of the Shire basically. But then underground you have like this one area which is kind of like steampunk Mordor mixed with like mossy undergrowth and stuff, and really cool. And then like there's this one underground zone where it's just like lit by a giant massive crystal, so it looks like there's like the sun. And there are like all these weird religious people who live there, kind of fashy. Everyone likes them right now, the Hallowfall people, but they give me like real like fashy vibes. I don't.
They all have like
they
those
rub me the wrong way.
Long top, buzz side haircuts.
Yeah, some of them do, and they all have like your Crusader helmets, and I don't know. They just give me bad vibes, even though they're supposed to be good guys.
Too many skulls on the uniforms.
Yeah. Well, they're mostly like suns, but they're basically the same thing. And then you have like the Spider Zone, which reminds me a lot of like Wrath of the Lich King, like the Icecrown Citadel area there, where you have like areas where you like pockets of area that you can go into, and that are much more dangerous than others. And there's like a hidden mechanic where you have like areas where you're in disguise, you can move around. I guess they did that a lot in Legion too, but I don't know. It's so far it's been pretty good. Although I will say that because of the way the end game values solo play, I feel like classes that are easier to solo kind of end up ahead of everyone else. Like I'm playing with my mage, it's a lot less fun than playing with my paladin or my Death Knight or the Druid, because like you have, like end game content where you're like soloing stuff, where it's like meant to be soloing. You're meant to solo stuff. Having those options of like, being able to take damage and to heal and stuff like that really makes a lot of the end game fights easier than if you're like a mage, where you just kind of have to bounce around and freeze things and turn things into sheep and stuff like that to survive. So it's a lot more. It's a lot more rewarding, I think, for people
more
who
engaging.
Have those abilities. Yeah. But well, I like it. We'll see where it goes.
Hell yeah.
But what have you been playing?
I've been playing a couple things. I've been playing Star Wars Outlaws, and
I'm waiting for your report on that.
Yeah, well, so I like it. Not to spoil it in case we cover it, because I think this is something we could cover. I know Marcus can't run this on his computer, but
he did buy a PS3, so he's
getting closer. He's getting
up.
Closer.
He reminds me of Strong Bad with the computers back in the day.
No, it is fun. The combat is middling for a company who is known for their stealth games. The stealth is also middling. Everything is pretty middling. I think the main feature from it that I'm really invested in is, instead of like they have those things where it's like, hey, get like 3 stealth takedowns and you'll get a little reward. Instead of it just being a reward that's like a skill point you can assign, they have these things called experts, which are people you meet in the world. Like Lando Calrissian is one of the experts. And his stuff is like, win 3 games of sabacc with the high rollers while cheating. Like that kind of interesting little challenges. And when you complete that one, it'll be like 2 or 3 things, bullet points of things you need to complete. You'll unlock a card that unlocks a whole new ability for you. It might be stun grenades that you now have, or the ability to pick locks better, or pick a higher caliber style of lock, or do like a quick override on something. And there's all these, they actually end up being kind of like core abilities that can tie into like your ability to traverse the environment better too, or engage in combat better. But they're tied to these characters and these kind of like side stories. you might have to find a special component, and it might show like just a vague description on a map of where it could be found. It's a different way of doing it than a skill tree. There's no leveling or anything. And that, I think, is pretty cool. I can't really think of another game I've played that's done it that way.
Metroid? I mean, not really.
Yeah,
but...
well, I mean, sure. Like, a little more classic in that way. But instead of just finding the tool, like, you're talking to someone to go get a tool. It's a lot of, like, assembling a team for heists. And then everyone in the team is a shady motherfucker, and half of them, like, are going to betray you at some point. And it's... No one's good in this game, including the main character. Kay Vess is not, like, a memorable character. And I don't know if that's a negative. I'm not, like, fully
they should have probably
finished
just used
on my,
Dr.
like...
Afro.
Yeah, it's just not... I don't know if I like it or not as, like, how much of a blank slate stand-in she is. Because it lets me experience the world of Star Wars a lot better, like... with her being so generic. But I don't know. There's also, like, the dialogue gets very stunted and stuff, too.
I will say that about Cal Kestis in the first game. I thought he was, like, the Ed Sheeran of Jedi. And in the second one, he actually, he's got a lot more personality.
Yeah,
so,
but he still has that
maybe
ketchup bottle tattoo. It's just weird. I didn't even know they had ketchup there.
Yeah, well, it's just written in Arabesh, whatever the Star Wars language is.
Mm-hmm. Galactic
Probably
Standard.
Like Rancor. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's fun. I think we should, like... I think you'll enjoy it.
Ketchup.
I want to see the game.
Is that Hut's Ketchup?
Oh, fuck, it is Hut's Ketchup. God damn it,
yeah,
that's good.
See, laugh. Thank
Good
you.
job.
Okay,
Good job.
Go on,
No, we need to recognize that. No, I think we should play this for the pod. I definitely want to finish it, which is kind of rare for me with a lot of these games. I'll go like, oh, this is really cool. This is cool. I get about halfway through it, and then I set it down. Like, I haven't even finished Tears of the Kingdom yet. I will one day, but yeah.
No, that's fair. It took me 4 years to finish Breath of the Wild properly. So.
Yeah. So in the meantime, I've kind of been in a chill game mood still. On the Switch, so I had to refund Castlevania Dominus on Steam. The controller, no matter what I did, I could not get them to work. Most people said it was a Bluetooth issue. I don't have a Bluetooth dongle right now for my PC. Mine crapped out on me. So I was like, well, let me get a refund, pick it up on the Switch. I'm having a better time with it on the Switch anyways, like handheld style, because these are all DS games.
Right.
Which I finally, like, after we talked last time, about an hour later, it clicked in my head of like, oh, Dominus, DS. Okay, that's why they're... I was like, I wonder if the other releases have like a similar theme for their names, and that's why they're all called that. I didn't bother to look into it any further than that thought, but maybe,
could be.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying those. I think a couple of these I'd missed back on the DS before. So, having a lot of fun with them. Portraits of Ruin was really fun. I know I played Dawn of Sorrow before.
Portraits of
Portrait, what? I think. Actually, I think it's just Portrait of Ruin. You play as two characters at once.
Wow.
It's really fun.
How does that work? Is it like Ice Climbers, or do you just hot swap out?
Both. Or? You can either hot swap, or you can have both of them with like a very limited AI manipulating the other one, which can get you into trouble because they can also take damage then. But with that, you can, like, in the beginning, before you gain a double jump, you gain the ability to, like, alley-oop off of the other character. So you start to learn how to, like, position yourself so you can do, like, a bounce jump off them, or you can tell them to, like, stay in a spot for a switch or a lever so you can complete a puzzle in the room. You, like, heavy objects, both of you can push instead of just one, and it makes it go faster. There's, like, placement things. Gotcha. If you tell one to stay in one area, you can, like, swap between which one you're controlling, so you can kind of... I don't know, it leads to more interesting environmental puzzles, and they each equip their own weapon sets and, like, armor types. So, it's pretty interesting. One of them is a spellcaster, and later you just, like... At first, you just hit them with a blank book, and I think the first weapon upgrade after that you get is a dictionary. And then later you get, like, this book of like different types of weapons, and weapons literally like shoot out of it as you open the book. It's pretty comical. Yeah, I enjoy it.
That's fun.
Yeah. And when I'm not in the mood to like keep playing that after I've killed a boss or two and made my way through some of the castle, I'm firing up my Steam and playing a little Star Trucker.
Yeah, I saw that came out. I haven't gotten a hold of that yet.
It's nice.
What's your thoughts?
It's really relaxing. It's definitely better mouse and keyboard than gamepad, which that's fine. I would have preferred gamepad being a little more intuitive, but there's just so many places to look around for things like little air brake levers and, you know, your CB radios and all that. So I don't know.
Yeah, that was always when I play the trucks, the real world truck simulators. I do controller for steering, but I use my keyboard for all the hotkeys to like turn on wipers and all
it's
that
how
stuff.
I play Elite Dangerous most of the time.
Yeah.
Yep. So I'm kind of getting back into the swing of that, but it's really relaxing. The only thing is like lining up a cargo delivery drop off or something in 0G is a little. You can get yourself into a bit of a spin.
Yeah, I bet.
But other than that, no, it's fun. I'd recommend it. I think it's still on sale right now for its release price, like 10% off.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I'll definitely have to check that out.
Yeah.
One last thing I have been playing while I'm thinking about it. I have been playing quite a bit of the City Skylines 2. They just released another patch. This is probably where they should have been when they released it almost a year ago. It's still not perfect, but I mean it's a lot better.
Yeah.
It's playable. It's not stupid. There's enough. It's like I don't know. It's in a weird place. And my big problem, I guess, the one thing I want to mention is like after playing Workers and Resources, coming back to City Skylines feels like going back a generation in like a console.
Wow.
Like it's just so like Workers and Resources was so like detailed and thought out and I mean it still is. There's just so much complexity and all this stuff that's going on in Workers and Resources. Whereas going back to City Skylines, it feels like make number go green and watch out for traffic. And I'm like, it loses a lot of its challenge. It kind of feels like I'm just playing with sand castles and just building fun, cute little cities. Like it doesn't. I'm onto the harder stuff now. I can't go back to this wimpy, pseudo or economy simulating stuff. But I would definitely say if you're someone who's been like, I like City Skylines, the first one, a lot, and I've been wary about City Skylines 2, I would say that it is now in a playable state, and it's what City Skylines 2 probably should have been. Although it should also probably have already had an expansion by now, because again, it's been out for a year, so hopefully there's more content soon.
They've added more trees, more types of trees.
Yeah, that didn't go down well. I mean, the thing is, City Skylines, the original, was adding trees constantly, but the trees were never part of any of the DLC.
Right.
Trees were always part of the free DLC. Like they would do, like they have the Crusader Kings model where you get some stuff with the FLC and some stuff with the DLC, and then I guess for whatever reason they decided to go full evil, and that did not work.
Yeah,
well,
never
especially
go full
on a game that is. Yeah, exactly. Especially on a game that is so mod and creator driven, where it's just like, you're charging us for trees when like in the last game I could download a pack of 30 trees for free from a modder. Like this is, yeah. Speaking of which, Sims 4 turns 10 years old. We've been on Sims 4 for a decade. And they just announced another expansion.
And what's the Sims killer that we were all waiting for? That hasn't come out yet, has it?
Well, that's the fun thing is that the two ones that I've been looking at there was Paralives, which still is in development, and then the other one was Life by You, which is dead, largely it's probably due to City Skylines doing so poorly. Actually, basically, Paradox put the kibosh on Life by You because it was taking too long, and I think that probably a bit of a knock-on effect of City Skylines 2 underperforming. But out of nowhere, there's this game called Inzoi, which is kind of jumped into the race for the new Sims killer, and they released their they released their character creator, and I see some pretty wild stuff. It seems very in depth, more in depth than The Sims has ever been. There's like a lot of stuff you could do. I mean, granted, all you can do is make pretty people.
Right,
like,
and I have wondered if it's just like, well, this is the, like, they're really utilizing Unreal Engine 5, and, like, that's their selling point is, like, look how nice Unreal Engine 5 makes everything look, but then, like, mechanically it's not going to be in-depth at all. That's what I'm wondering.
From what I've seen is that the mechanics aren't going to be like Simsy so much as they're going to be kind of like Sims has always been like live the kind of lifestyle you want, and I feel like Inzoi is going to be like live the lifestyle of being someone who's in their 20s or 30s in a urban city and go on dates and drive cars and go to club like some of the Sims spin-offs you had for like console, like Bustin' Out or The Herbs or whatever those ones were called, where they're life simulations, but they're not like sandboxes. They're just specific life simulations. But from what I haven't obviously played any of it, although I have heard from some people who have played some of the early gameplay. They almost kind of compared it to GTA in like moving the way you move around the city and stuff like that. So I'll be interested to see what that ends up being. Like, how customizable is that going to get to? Like, can I get out of my house and get into a car and drive somewhere, and also be able to like place where I want the lamp to go on a side table in the corner of my apartment? Am I going to be able to build an 8-story mansion with one stairway that goes all the way up the whole thing and a big pool at the bottom? You know, like what's the actual creative limit of it? I don't know. But you can make some pretty people.
Yeah,
so
I'm looking at the images.
Cool.
Looks pretty, like, it looks...
I look forward to see what the Monster Factory boys do with this thing.
Yeah. I don't know, I'm ready for something new. I think I'm ready for good RTS again. It's been a long time since I've gotten really into one.
Yeah, I tried to get into... there was the Homeworld 3, whatever came out, that didn't really work for me. The New Sins of a Solar Empire came out recently, and I don't know. I agree with you in that I feel like there's RTS missing for me. I just feel like the part of me that accepted RTSs into my life doesn't exist anymore. You know, like it's missing, but I don't have a place to put it anymore.
Maybe I just need to replay StarCraft 2. Maybe that'll scratch my itch.
That's I do like the campaign for StarCraft 2. I know it's really lame to like the campaigns for RTSs, but I do. I really like it. No, exactly. I mean, that's the only reason I ever played RTSs. I thought the World of Warcraft or that the Warcraft 3 campaign was a lot of fun.
No shit. I didn't even play that until like after I had played World of Warcraft. I had StarCraft on N64 before I had it on PC. So no. So a lot of it was campaign for me because you're not playing like a lot of like couch co-op.
That sounds like torture.
Oh, it was rough.
God,
it was rough.
dang.
When I started playing on PC, I was like, oh wow, you can do so much more. This is great. Hotkeys for like binding like units together. This is incredible.
I rented Command and Conquer for the PlayStation because I already had it on the PC, but I was just like, how does this work? I was like almost expecting it to be a different game or something, and it was just terrible. Like I was RTSs and console controllers
rough,
don't go well together.
Really rough. Yeah.
It's almost like how it took forever for a decent platformer to be on computers because
mouse and keyboard control.
Commander Keen was the first game to actually figure out how to do the side-scrolling.
Yeah, when I was trying to play some Prince of Persia recently, like my controller was messing up a little bit for that because of the whole Ubisoft launcher thing that works with it.
Gosh.
And so I was like, I guess I'm gonna try to play this platformer on keyboard. Like, it felt weird. It wasn't even mouse then. It was just keyboard, like dual-hand keyboard. And I was like, this is so weird. It's just so weird feeling. I don't know. I finally got it to work. Again. I don't know. I've got so many complaints with Ubisoft's whole system right now. Like, with Star Wars Outlaws. First off, I tried to play some Far Cry 6, like, 2 weeks ago. And it's in my Epic Games Store. So I think I complained about this, so I had to download it through Epic's Game Store, but it actually downloaded it into the Ubisoft launcher, so it showed it as like installable on the Epic's Game Store, but I had to click on the install in my library in Epic so that it would log in through Epic into Ubisoft to then pull from that library the game that's been installed there to load it. It's doing the same thing with Outlaws. Like, I can't even click on the desktop. It's like, well, then you need to log into Ubisoft. And I'm like, no, it's on Epic. They're like, but it's on Ubisoft. Why? No one wants your trash launcher.
I mean, EA is finally getting that. I don't know why Ubisoft is. I mean, Ubisoft's always trapped 5 years in the past, but like
they're like Nintendo in a weird way like that.
Yeah. Maybe they should. Maybe Nintendo should buy Ubisoft.
That actually probably would improve everything for both of them.
Yeah, that would be and then I might actually buy the next Nintendo console if all of the Ubisoft games are Nintendo exclusives.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know how that would work. I don't know how you do Anno on
I don't
Switch.
know, but I'm seeing a crossover between Assassin's Creed and Mario that I'm very excited for.
Oh wait, they already did that.
Where it's
the freaking the Mario Rabbids
yeah,
game.
That
was
one
an
was
Ubisoft thing.
Really fun.
That was good. Yeah, the first one was really good.
The second one's good too, Sparks of Hope or whatever. Yeah, I liked it.
I'll give it another shot, maybe.
Yeah.
But that's
very
true.
enjoyable.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm playing Tactical Breach Wizards for my XCOM fix right now still, but yeah.
Very fair. Yeah. Need to get on that,
but
too.
I do want to see Mario hiding in some brush with like a little wrist knife, getting ready to take down some Egyptian guards. Some Koopas.
Okay, sorry.
No, that's fine.
I think he just woke himself up from a dream.
Aww.
Yeah, sick boy.
He's disappointed that the steak he was eating in the dream is not here in real life.
Well, I think he was doing the running thing, and then I think he kicked to the side of my table, and he was like, "Ooh." Alrighty. Well, now that I'm talking about my dog, I think probably means we're done.
I think
here.
we're about done here.
Yeah. Not a lot of meat to this episode.
I mean, a lot of digital meat to cook, but yeah, it's again one of those like nice, easy, cozy casuals where there's not going to be too much to talk about outside of like go play it yourself. Like
it's very chill. I mean, this is also apparent. Like I'm surprised this is not out on other things. Like it's only out on Steam. Like this is something I could see working really well on even like mobile, like on a tablet or something.
I was gonna say anything where you use like a finger or a stylus to drag things around. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All right. So thanks for listening.
Yeah. You're welcome.
If you liked it, comment it and all that jazz. We'll have be back next week with another game.
We will. I actually don't remember which one now because Marcus has been pitching another, but I guess we'll all talk about that.
Yeah, I think we'll see whether we can get Marcus on.
Yeah.
Or not. If it's Marcus is here, we'll do one, and if he's not, we'll do the other.
Yes.
So. All right. Well, either which way, I'll be here.
And I as will. Well, Will. I'm Will.
Yes, Mike will be here. Mike will.
I am's. Yes.
Bye.
Bye. Most days I feel like my internal body and my external body are at constant war.
What's your external body versus your
my
internal
skin.
body?
Like my skin's welting up and the insides are all just bubbling and gurgling and
But are they at odds with each other?
Oh,
they bubble and gurgle because of the skin?
Well, I imagine the skin is a reaction to something that's happening in the blood that I really don't want to know about.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure that's how it all works. My understanding of the human anatomy is like early human understanding of cosmology. There's just giants inside of me fighting.
Which one of these humors is imbalanced right now? I think you have too much black bile.
Yeah.